No.
Unanimous.
Okay, I would like to welcome everyone to the Monday, April 14th, 2025 Board of Health meeting. All members are present and accounted for. First order of business, I would like to accept the meeting minutes from February 10th, 2025. Did everyone get a chance to go over that?
Yes.
Paul?
I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
So I guess my only question would be, what did happen? I wasn't able to be, I was traveling last month. What happened with the fees, the fee schedule?
They were increased and up and are live.
As of April 1st.
Universally across the board, all of them? Yes.
I actually think there may have only been one that we didn't increase.
Yeah, we went through
but it brought it in line with another similar fee.
Yeah, and just for my benefit, what was like the percent, 10%, 5%?
Depended on the structure and based on towns in the area, like comps in the
Yeah,
area.
we
So it
every
varied.
fee we comped all the towns to make sure we were in line with all the other towns.
We're not the
They
most
vary
expensive, we're not the cheapest.
Yeah, they varied from 10 on the low end, up to kind of matching the towns around us. I can send you the chart, I think I still have it.
If you
I
could.
thought if I didn't send it.
I don't think I did to get it.
Okay.
If I did, I apologize, but I didn't look. I looked at my emails the other day when I get home and I didn't see anything. If you could. But thank you. That's all I had.
Take a motion to accept the minutes as,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
motion made and seconded, all those in favor?
Me and yes?
Mills, yes,
Bueller, yes.
carries. Okay, next. I understand we don't have our presenter.
No, we do not. There was a miscommunication.
That's okay.
I did not think that you would be terribly upset by the need to potentially postpone this agenda item. The gentleman is out in Amherst and thought this was going to be remote.
Okay.
So,
If he
Next
has
up.
he said it may be more productive once he has his first draft anyway. I met with him along with Greg Swan from the DPW to discuss our two permitting streams last week. So there's a draft report or draft first phase that might be more
Available.
beneficial to look at.
Okay.
You know, they're looking at some things on the other sides as far as we do all of our review in-house. So there's no, outside consultants and things like that, whereas there are in other departments, and whether or not there could be some economy of scale or efficiencies if there was a change to that structure. But we're 100% in-house with our review fees, so.
Did you get any indication, any conversations with either him or Stephanie on what it is exactly that they're looking at? Like, are they looking to streamline, combine things?
I think they're looking at streamlining and just efficiencies as far as getting the permitting process through, I don't want to say as quickly as possible, but eliminating anything on our end that slows it down, which we don't really have. Things come into us, we have a overall tracker that if there is a question on a permit, I'm mostly speaking about septic permits, but if something comes in and there's a revision needing or there's something missing, Lindsay has put us all online amongst ourselves in a shared document where there's a tracker. And now, at least once a week, Mark's going in and looking for and checking permit eyes, and saying, okay, I told him a week ago to do something, because the system doesn't automatically trigger us that something has been updated to it. So we might ask for the installer and the engineer to sign off for a certificate of compliance. They may do it, but we don't get notification. So they're also going to look into the fact that that was put on the table during our discussion. They're going to look at whether or not that is something that
So we
can
may
be
chasing
turned
things
on.
that we shouldn't really have to chase.
Yes, but now they might have done it and we just don't know it. But we have an internal system that now at least once a week somebody's going through this list and going, okay, nope, you know what, they did sign off, and alerting us.
So it's not sitting there for weeks on end unnoticed. It's every
Well,
Monday.
The last couple of years really is that you guys are always and you're trying to help. I've seen that myself, I've seen what you're trying to do, you're following up with people saying, well, I think we ought to look at this, and come on in, talk about, I've seen it, so I don't know what it is exactly they might find or not.
I don't know, partly because we
Interesting.
do everything
Correct.
ourselves,
Yeah.
and some of the other departments
Set it off a
don't.
peer review.
Yeah,
So-
no, I know one department that can be incredibly hard to navigate, and I don't think this is the one, so. Was that politically correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
You good?
I am good, thank you.
Policy for waiving temporary permit fees.
So one of the things that came up in our discussion of the temporary permitting fees was that there is a state statute that prohibits us from charging a nonprofit for for any food permit. And we had, over the time, kind of extended some of that to events that supported nonprofits. So think of a food truck coming to an event for a booster club. And what we had discussed was not waiving those fees unless the permittee came in and said that they were extending a financial benefit to that booster club. If they were just showing up, charging $4 for an ice cream sandwich and walking away with all the money,
Right,
they could pay the fee. So we'll be taking a closer look at that relationship and whether or not there is any benefit to the nonprofit. And if there is, we may be bringing them back to you instead of just waiving or taking it on ourselves.
I think that's incredibly fair.
Oh, yeah.
To your point, I think that's a great example. Booster Club's doing something, the ice cream truck says, I'll wheel in here for a little while, and then, yeah, no,
Right,
that,
if they're gonna donate
Portion of the
Percentage
sale.
of profit,
percentage,
or
then
they're going to
that's fine,
sell
but
everything
if-
at 50% off
if
because
they're
it's
just
a
there-
kindergarten open house,
if
or,
they're just there selling,
For profit.
well, they should pay the permit fee, just like
Yeah.
everyone else, I mean,
Okay.
they're getting the benefit of a crowd,
Mhm.
at least, you know what I mean, but that's, I was kinda miffed when I found out that went on, cause that's,
it's
well,
kind
I
of
mean,
been
food
like
trucks are the
a,
thing now, like everyone
yes,
does.
and
they've
that's
grown
part of it.
Yeah,
Big time
so-
with the boosters, instead of them doing it themselves,
Right.
less waste, less effort on
but
their part.
EYBL or somebody like that wouldn't be impacted, or are they?
No, like Rosie's Snack Shack was still
Right.
waived.
Yeah, is she still up there?
No, she left last year.
Did she?
Yeah.
Wow, an icon.
Yeah, and say the Boosters Club wanted to set up their own table and sell pizza by the slice and do a 1-day temporary permit. As always, there wouldn't be a fee for that. They just would go through
No,
the
that's
process with
completely
us.
Reasonable.
understandable, I actually find a little deceitfulness with that, cause they know what they're doing,
Mhm.
and I bet you'll get pushback too, like, what do you mean, this is for so-and-so, it's like, okay, well, and they're gonna have to show that they're making a donation, like a copy of a check or something like that, or maybe they pay the fee, and then when they come back and show a copy of the check that they cut to the thing, then we reimburse them or something, I, like.
That's too much work.
That's a lot of work. I think that,
So how do you
Gotta streamline
guarantee-
it.
how
I
do
think
you
what we're going
guarantee-
to see is a lot more of the food trucks. Our prices are still incredibly reasonable.
Yeah.
There is more and more demand for these food truck, especially events where people are having them at graduation parties. So paying the one-time fee and dealing with us once
For the year.
and not having to even
Oh, it's once for the
deal with
year.
us again. So if we had, you know, Joe's hot dog truck gets a license this month and he can go by the ball field, he can go to the graduation party, he can go to the 300th events, depending on the event sponsor and their rules and regulations, and never deal with us again.
Okay.
So it's more efficient on our part, it's,
And I believe, I don't know the new fee structure, but I think it's like 150 for a temporary 1 day, and it's 175 for an annual.
Oh, yeah.
So like the ice cream truck that came out here today, he's an annual.
Okay.
And so I just inspected his truck, but he'll be, cruising the streets,
Yeah.
with his music, and then probably show up
Other stuff.
at the school.
and we typically are asked when there are gonna be the concerts or there are
Different
going to
things.
be different events, they'll say, who do you have that is licensed?
Great.
And they can just chant, so there's a benefit to being on that list of who's licensed annually, because that's who we're providing to anybody planning an event.
Great.
Yeah, we went to there was a regional food truck inspection, there were 40 trucks there.
Okay.
So I went there with Paul.
Okay.
We hit them all.
Yeah.
And then, so now anybody calls and like,
This is the
this is
list
the list, these were all inspected by us,
Yeah.
so they don't have to come here
and do it.
and, it just
Great.
makes it easier. They may not be licensed by us yet,
Okay,
but if they choose to, at least
Yeah.
they've already seen them,
great.
so.
And again, creating an efficiency just by going to that one-day event.
We do the
And-
same thing with septic trucks.
Okay,
Yep, and it makes it more efficient for them, they don't have to come here, where the statute is set up that they have to get licensed in each town.
yeah. But have like a day to
We
do
kinda make
Good.
it a little bit more efficient, that
Yeah.
like, yes, we saw you once,
Yeah, make it easier. Great.
we don't need to see you again.
Good.
Pay your fee and be on your way.
So we deciding on that tonight, or is this just we're talking
That was
about
just a discussion,
That's
that
fine.
that's
Yeah.
kind of what we discussed, and that's
Yeah.
what we're doing.
moving forward? Great.
There are no variances, but we have a betterment for 355 Bay Road.
Yes, they're looking for the max 45,000, they're pumping it more than 4 times. They're in good standing with the town, with all their bills, so.
Motion to approve the benefit for 355 Bay Road.
Second, the motion to benefit for 355 Bay Road.
Motion made, seconded, all those in favor?
And yes,
Mills, yes.
Bueller, yes.
Alright. Staff notes. Staff.
Did you guys get the email?
Yes, about the spraying.
Yes.
Yes.
Skiers.
It's a larvicide.
Larvicide, yeah.
So what they try to do is get it out before the canopy of the leaves get out, and they
Yep.
drop it, they're pellets, they drop into
Yep, in the smock.
Hockomock swamp, so. That email came, I want you to know before, because
Yep.
it should be happening tonight.
Soon, yeah.
good weather for it.
Yeah.
Things are
Great.
starting to break.
Yep.
So,
How about, the pellets that we're putting in standing water and stuff like that? What is your recommendation? What time? Should we start now? Should we start?
That's a
Some
lot-
people are
that-
doing- Some people are doing it themselves.
yeah, you can buy them at Home Depot and Lowe's,
Correct.
they make organic ones. I have some in my, cause I have a in-ground swimming pool that has 3 inches of water in it for about a month.
Yeah.
I throw it in there, and it usually gets you about 100 to 180 days, depending on the brand.
But
So
the
you-
recommendation now is.
Yeah, now, once you have
Now.
standing water and once the weather breaks,
Okay.
to do that.
And did we ever get any traction that we can get the county to come and look at what I've been talking about along the railroad tracks that are running through all the neighborhoods? Cause I was down there again today, twice, I walked the dog down there today, and it's just standing water everywhere.
Right.
And it's going right through these neighborhoods, from the Stoughton line to the Raynham line.
Yeah,
What is the, do we have
we,
any?
would you like to have asked Priscilla Madden to come here and speak to her about that? I mean, she's
I
willing
would
to
love-
come to.
Or somebody here could, if you could contact her and say, listen, this is the observation from one of our members, somebody from the board. He's brought it up now twice.
Yeah.
Last year and this year, and I just don't understand why we can't do something more, even if it's volunteers and just dropping the pucks, going up and down the ways, I don't care, or if it's us, or if
You're
it's
gonna be a
you.
licensed pesticide
You know what, if
person
she's
to
willing
put stuff out, yeah.
to come talk, I think, and if like 3 people in TV land watch these, some people wanna know what the
Right.
Bristol County,
Right.
I don't think that's a
It's,
bad
I think it's a good promo to let people
Yeah.
know what
They
they're
came once a
doing.
couple years ago, dude,
Yeah.
it's like a 15-minute thing or whatever,
She's
but
She was unavailable, so the entomologist
That's
came.
what it was, yeah,
last
but-
year,
but
so it was
Yeah.
much more of a, higher level,
Yeah.
like,
I
Yeah, have them come.
biology
actually
talk, but.
wouldn't mind that at all.
It'd be a great,
You
May would be a good meeting to
It's
have
good.
her come, cause it's
Yeah.
really this.
Yeah.
start
Part of
mosquitoes.
everything,
if
yeah.
you can schedule that, that's a great idea.
Sounds great.
Alright, I will email her tonight.
And I've talked about this, right, it's going by
Yeah.
the ball field, it's going by the football fields, it's
Yeah.
going by soccer fields, it's going through neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's a decent amount.
It's all this standing water that we just continuously talk about, and I
Right.
think it's just not getting done. Nothing's being done on it, so.
Part of it's probably aerial larvicided from like behind the regional in that section.
That section, but I'm talking.
You're talking
Stoughton
about
line
from-
through the neighborhoods.
Right,
The railroad bed.
the railroad,
Railroad.
yeah.
Basically the railroad.
I'm thinking
Parallel
of,
to Center Street, parallel to Purchase,
Oh, yeah.
parallel to Foundry Street, it's going, and all the neighborhoods that it goes through.
Yeah. okay,
I don't know, I
Have
mean,
her
it's
come
such
in.
a major concern, I just think we're missing something. And I could be wrong, but I don't know.
She will be the person that can speak to
Okay.
If we can do it.
who,
Yeah.
if anybody, can
Yeah.
get there.
Sounds like a
Thank
plan.
you.
yeah,
I don't have anything other than, yeah, just,
it's getting busy.
it's busy.
Is it picking up, yeah?
Oh, yeah, a lot more parks, camps are starting to start with questions. Pools have already started with Tim. So, this is the time of year that's
Things get busy.
from here to
When someone
July
does
1st.
an in-ground pool, is that through the building department or is that through here?
Building department, but we make comments on it,
Through permitize.
permanent, yeah,
Yeah, we
Just
review to make
there's
sure.
Land.
next to the field.
Septic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a setback.
Great.
And then how about the accessory dwelling unit buildings? Does that come into play with Board of Health at all?
We just received something last week.
Guidance, yeah, last
from-
week on it, yeah.
From DEP.
Really?
Yeah, a
Okay.
guidance
And
document.
what are they saying?
Basically,
Follows Title V.
yeah, it just follows along with Title V. Anything other than a single-family dwelling in Title V needs a 2-compartment tank.
So if somebody were to put one in their yard, and they had a 4-bedroom house and it was a 5-bedroom septic, they could tie into that.
They would, so in that scenario, in all likelihood, the accessory dwelling unit would have its own tank. Or you could replumb to, it's much easier to get 2 tanks to
Right.
here than it would be to get this one here, swap it out for
Yeah.
a 2-compartment that's big enough to get to here. But if the total is 5 bedrooms and this part was sized for 5 bedrooms, that
Okay.
That'd be fine, yeah.
You can
Yep.
have tanks in series.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you had a single compartment 1,500 gallon tank, and instead of ripping it out, it's only a year old,
Yeah.
you could put a 1,000 gallon tank after it,
After it. Okay.
before the field. If say it was a garage
Yeah. Something.
ADU, and the plumbing worked easy into the tank, cause it's right outside the garage, and the house
Yeah.
comes in this way, the garage is that.
They would need an engineer.
Yeah.
Sure.
We help say, you know, these are options, these are
I've been
options
asked
your
that.
engineer should
I
be
have too. We were looking.
considering.
Neighbors have asked me, and we were looking into it recently, actually, for ourselves.
3 times in the past month.
The other piece of that, as you said, you know, this is 5 bedrooms, but truly only 5, the system's 5, this is 4, and we're gonna add 1. If this were 4 and this were 4, you can reconfigure this into a 3 plus 1 to get to the 4.
Okay.
So
There's a couple ways to do
oftentimes,
it.
like there's a small bedroom nobody uses that
Yeah.
becomes a closet
Yep.
or becomes a master suite, bathroom unit.
Could you,
You could
in,
have your own septic for the ADU.
Right.
so if you had a pump system, and you had a house that went, solid into a pump chamber up into the leaching field, then you had an ADU over here, could you do another solid tank pump chamber and pump into the same field?
Potentially, yes.
Just from a
Yep,
different.
it's all engineering, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
yeah,
just
it's all-
getting
but
it
just-
from, getting
yeah.
it the treatment and then getting it from here to there.
So you
About
have,
5 ways to skin this cat.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
I mean, as many paint colors as there are
Gotcha.
for your front door.
No, it's good.
As many
Yeah.
different
It's
ways
good to
you
know.
can, you
Great.
know,
The one thing is when, if the septic was repaired and received an LUA, and now if you're adding a bedroom, now it becomes new construction, so you have to,
Okay.
you're not afforded the LUA anymore for groundwater separation, so you may have to
Rip up the system.
It may
raise
be
up
more
the system, it,
Yeah,
so.
there's that. It's case by case, it's not cookie cutter by any means,
Gotcha.
but it's
so if
it's
anybody's
not crazy.
contemplating a repair, but also has this in the back of their mind, they may want to
That
forego
is-
that relief.
Repair. Yeah.
In order to
Yeah.
either forego the repair if they can, or forego the relief,
And
the 1-foot separation, or,
And the one thing they said that at the training we went to is that everyone should have a Title V inspection before this happens. To
Okay.
make sure the
just to make sure it's
system's
functioning.
functioning.
Gotcha. All right. And we could encourage people to touch base with you guys if they had questions.
Oh, for sure.
Great.
If you're on sewer, it's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Pass the bylaw that says?
Well, an ADU could
Do you
be
need
in,
Title V
say, the
Yeah.
basement.
No, it's in Title V, we can.
Oh, it is.
It's already there, yeah.
Anytime we
It
say
could be
so,
attached, it could not be attached,
Yeah.
it really,
and it is supposed to be done whenever you're adding.
Great.
you still have to meet the setbacks to building.
Okay.
But
Good to know.
one case was, there's an existing structure, like, close to the property line, they're not making you, from a building standpoint, move the structure.
Gotcha.
You know, you could,
So the thing with these ADUs, you can put them anywhere in the yard now, right?
With
Well,
with
still within setbacks.
still have to within the setbacks because we just looked into it. Yeah. But yeah, that's great. And so we can encourage constituents to reach out to you guys if they have questions.
They're gonna become more and more popular, to your
Yeah.
point, and I think that people are, you
And
know,
we did we put the guidance up on the website?
I recommended, I'm not the webmaster, so I don't know.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
gave it to Lindsay, so.
But it's good to know that
It may
there
be-
will be some info on the website for residents.
Yep, it
Great.
may be, we are in the process of, as I said, taking a really good hard look at the information we have and making
Great.
sure it is easily accessible. It started with a lot of financial benefits and benefit programs. That's been the biggest priority right now.
Great.
But it will be throughout the year shifting over and making sure that we're stripping out stuff that isn't current, stuff that isn't used, and trying to get to stuff that's more evergreen as far as putting links on it instead of
Great.
text that we're linking to PDFs that we forget to update.
Great,
So
streamline it. Good.
we're doing that, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Any other member?
I'm good.
Notes, comments?
I got everything I wanted in
Speak now or
forever.
30 days
We'll
hold
make a
your
motion.
peace. So, could I get a motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
I'll second the motion to adjourn.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, Mills, yes.
Bueller, yes.
Ian, yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
6:22. Thumbs down.